Okay, so the story of Egyptian women tell the story. Remember, the gospel is also good spell or gospel. That's how it's been translated, National Geographic as well. Bastet is key in this, and she has to do with agility, music, dance, harmony, etc. So if you think about it as a woman, and cat a or kata as the form is a demonstration or a demon, and you think about witches, cats, devil, demonstration, reverse, God's plan in reverse, and therefore women seem to be protecting APEP and SET's martial arts perspective and not giving me my credit, which is the whole purpose of having temples in the first place. It is the Greco-Roman mysteries, which are basically God's plan in reverse, and Medea and Circe and sorcerers, Kirk or church, as Maxwell pointed out, proving to be the Luciferian imposter and a bunch of Luciferian imposter societies. Okay, they want us to settle like Horus. Hathor is the house of the face, daughter of Nut and Ra at first, etc. So from the Roman perspective, they want Hathor type women to be the consorts and wives of Horus, which is basically like thick women being the wives of martial artists. Mayat is the goddess of truth, justice, reality, daughter of Ra, wife of thought, and of the world order. Okay, so you talk about a God's plan reverse world order, which includes reproduction, obviously, the children of the generations. Okay, so women should kill themselves if worse come to worse rather than participate in this generation, which is what carrying your cross means. Um, they also have the option to kill their babies, which I don't think they should do. But when you look at the power they have, they can kill themselves, their babies, they choose their husband, they raise the kids, as I've pointed out in the past. The thing about Selket, the scorpion goddess, pre-dynastic King Scorpion, seemed to have pledged allegiance to her, paid homage to her. She guards Apep's prison, right? So she didn't do a good job. She's supposed to keep Apep in prison and not support him and his philosophies in the reproduction, especially women's roles. You know, the admiration of potential wives in the book Fighting for Honor, the African book. You know, history of African martial arts traditions in the transatlantic world or something like that, right? Taret protects women at childbirth, thought to be married to Bes generally. Of course, Beset is the female counterpart of Bes. She breathes fire. And of course, this contradicts, when you look at the different views, it contradicts the idea that Sekhmet is the eye of Ra, or the eyebrow, and also the eye. She puts her wrath out on the earth, the scorching wrath of the sun, because they're defying the divine order, and and this has to do with reproduction. So Sekhmet and Haru would not appreciate the Greco-Roman twists and the effeminate depictions of men, much less trying to get men to settle for women that their spirit has not chosen, instead trying to force them into some kind of communist liberal agenda, which also are Western and white Semitic schools of thought. El and the golden calf being the Canaanite god of virility, you know, manhood as a big bloated man, and a big muscle bound, kind of bloated, a lot of fat on their bones, right? Versus Jesus and the depiction of the hawk and so on. The range, right? The mountain range, the range of the attack, a ranged attack. Horus is the spearhead, the spirit. Also the dew, the mountain dew. You can draw parallels to the Bennu bird, the Ben bird, the phoenix, regeneration, reproduction, and semen. Okay, so Nun, um, the primordial waters, nothingness, darkness. Tefnut, life-giving dew. Meshkent, childbirth. Renenet, nurse goddess, protects child at birth. So all these women are sleeping with the enemy. They're sleeping with Apepian trash instead of righteous martial arts warriors who are embodied. Here I am on the 20th, as I said I would be. It's about 11:10. I've been here for about an hour or so. I'll wait another 50 minutes, see if anyone shows up wearing red. And when no one shows up, I will leave and I will be victorious. And anyone who truly is part of the mysteries must submit themselves to my will. I am God's representative on earth. And this is a martial arts perspective. It is an African perspective. The house of Ptah, the Eye of Ptah, Egypt, Eye of Ptah, Sekhmet, okay, Seek mate, okay, See Kemet, the land of Ptah, understand the ancestors, the ancestral speech, what the ancestors would have wanted, and the Greco-Roman imposter mythology, amalgamation and dualism and dualistic Baphomet kind of perspective. The goat of the American flag, the Star-Spangled Banner. Hathor is also compared to the Star Spangle. You know, so when you look at it, she's all that is best in women. Joy and motherhood. So her portrayed as Sekhmet, as a woman who's prepared to fight to the death and to back up Ra and to back up the divine order with Ma'at, is how it's supposed to be. And Selket is supposed to keep Apep in check, and they are not doing that, and it is very disgraceful. We have many examples of why I'm right. Exodus 18:11, Exodus 18:21, all the Obi words in the dictionary, right? And think about who wrote the language and who they're taking shots at and who they're not, and the commonalities. Okay, we have hailstorms in the Bible were Set, on the Egyptians, Set protecting Ra. We have Sea of Reeds ambush, the breath of life, the eastern wind, the Narmer palette. There are other parallels we can draw, including martial arts symbolism. 3:7. Okay, so early in Exodus, God observes Moses killing the Egyptian for beating the Hebrew slave. He was beating him. He was not necessarily going to kill him. So you can draw UFC parallels. Also, the shepherds who are harassing the women, and then God intervenes. Reproduction is key in this, and so is martial arts spirits and spiritual warfare. I am the top martial artist, and I'm being persecuted for my truthful interpretation of the gospel, the good spelling, the truth, the understanding the angles, and understanding the wordplay and extracting it in a way that God meant it to be, unlike the cowards who are concerned with putting their race and races above mine. And all the enemies of the black original Egyptians seem to have teamed up together, and I doubt it's any other way. And they're using demonic symbolism and demonic pitiful cheating and deceit. Even Jacob was punished for tricking Esau out of his birthright, and he wrestled with God. It was a spiritual wrestling inside, wrestling with God. So you have to move your chi and kind of wrestle against the forces of darkness and with the forces of light, and move it a certain way to fight with light contact. Percussive skills, percussion. See, I have a little bit more time. I'm going to try to read what I wrote. Okay, so window, the win, the do. I won the do, okay, with a contest of sparring showing the application of spiritual might. If a prophet is of God and should be above, then he will beat the next best. Combination of skills, comb in nation, combination of transferable skills, not loose or loose eye fur, okay? So not the loser's perspective, not losing the chi. I'm not quite sure about that. I gotta run through this. Eyebrow, eyelashes, percussion, poor cause, si on, poor cause, sa on, poor cause for the son of On, the priestess of On, and so on. You can draw parallels. Hell low versus halo. Leopard, he leopores, anoints during the day. The snake, cunning, sooth energy at night or in the temple. So being outside of the daylight versus being in the temple or training at night. No On, the noon, the sun in his glory, Horus, and so on. So to understand the Wadi, I believe, of Egypt were part of the Egyptian Empire. David was crowned by the tribe of Judah. Okay, there's a lot of things that prove why I'm right. So focus on, again, Bast, the cat, agile, harmony, joy, dance, right? The dance in the proper form is a proper representation for women to really appreciate and to lust for men in a way, or to desire men in a way that's consistent with sacred morality. But Haru and Ra are the top of the form of God, so to speak, which forces you to spar in a way that has to do with the first hit, the leopard, the hawk. There's no way around it. Now, I'm going to try to read what I've written until the time runs out. The Lord of all, and especially fire in the Bible, is God, and seek mate sees Kemet. The black land of those who are dead waiting for Passover and life. She's on the brow of Ra and breathes fire like Jesus baptized with fire. She is angry at the reproductive cycle and not having a suitable mate, someone like me. There are evil Greco-Roman mysteries that kill the Son of God and keep man from having natural peace. Medea and Circe are examples of witches that oppose God's true temple and infiltrate it with Mars, the wolf, and the woodpecker. Mars's beasts, his spirit demon beasts, are the wolf and the woodpecker. The worldly shallow desires destroys the tree of life as he wears sheep's clothes and uses grease to do it. So he's pecking away at the tree of life. Pergamum is Zeus's throne, a form of Satan, and he is dualistic and he shapeshifts. So Neptune, Zeus, Hades, they're all shapeshifting. The eagle is Zeus, the eagle of Rome, the eagle of America, the Star-Spangled Banner. Get the people who accompany Ra, to incorporate Ra to settle for women that are undesirable naturally to people who naturally desire women, their spirit and their temple and so on. Greasing the turkey means to anoint the coward. So Greece and the turkey, Pergamum, right? There was the Greeks occupying Turkey. Greasing the turkey means to anoint the coward and not the type-like temple artist. Israel wrestles the devil inside with God's spirit and defeats his deceitful, shaming, cheating past. Esau represents worldly might without grace and divine insight, red being the color of evil. Peniel is the Hor or Horeb, meaning God's face. Okay, the place where Jacob wrestled God and won. Joseph was the son, and remember Haru, Joseph was the son of Jacob, born by Rachel. Ra-C-L, Ra-Call, like my call. It is my call, and I warn you about the big three races and the wolves usurping my sons and the sons of light. They may use black and minority turkey cowards I detest to do so. See Revelation 21:6-8 and 21:7. Rape is detestable and all must go out of their way to avoid it. If a woman is raped, vengeance must be applied in a way that's consistent with sacred morality, assuming that they are reading your mind with technology while you're thinking of ways to get even and using technology to stop you in drugs and sorcery. One must rise like the sun and rise to the occasion against all odds. Egypt is also seen as Ptah, as Ra sees and emphasizes divine generation according to the martial arts spirit, tree of life, through the true light temple. I'll show you that I'm here at the park, like I said. When I said I'd be there just to show you, it's going to, at risk of hurting my eyes, this is Centennial Park in Morgan Hill on Edmondson, like I said. Anyway, so Ra sees that I'm telling the truth. The true light temple. In my absence, I fear the worst, and I cry inside, but promise to avenge injustice, especially sexual injustice. Abstinent or obscene, it can be obscene if you do not make an obscene with making love, so to speak. I demand that the light temple secure the children of God's rightful place and their children and make sure they're safe and bring them to the light temple early on. So not like I was kept from the truth and kept from my cultivation early on, but I still rose with God's light and righteous indignation. The truth is in the nation. You indignation. Okay? Bring them to light, war arts, morality, etc. Okay? And vengeance is God and only sacred morality by a ruler to make it right on earth. Fair and right are not the same word. Think carefully. You know them by their works. Love is needed and sincerity. I love all and my heart is with you until God says otherwise. You must carry your cross against all odds and do what you must with careful perception to try to win the war on earth so God favors your works. Offer yourselves to God in this way. Women should have offered themselves to me in a way that was consistent with sacred morality. Read Proverbs 29 and then through the end of Proverbs. When I turned the Bible, this is where I landed, and it was consistent with what I wrote before I turned it to that point. Okay, the lion is the strongest animal spiritually, and it says in the Bible about the lion's strength. Think about it, a hippo or an elephant. Other animals are stronger like a bull, but he's the strongest spiritually because he's not a coward. So when they don't show, they're cowards. When they don't stand for sacred morality and tell the truth, they are cowards. It is like, tell the truth, don't be a coward. The wife of a bull. A female dog is a bitch. A female golden calf is a bull. We're sick of the bullshit and the bull that covers the light. We want the truth. And a bull that is consistent with truth, not bullshit. And we ultimately want the hawk, leopard, and the hare. The woman should make herself in a way that is consistent with sacred morality, so only the good man of God can catch her. Sorry for all the mistakes in this video, the slipping of tongue, but you can extract the truth, and I told the truth, and I just made minor mistakes due to drugging and slipping on words. Thank you.